to round 5 of the V8 Veterans League, thanks to Quantum Tint Solutions. I am your temporary host tonight, Luke Holland. Your regular host, Luke from RACESTARS, will be resting up his voice. He's still recovering from the flu, so a little bit later I'll be joined by Nathan Brown as well. So looking forward to an exciting race here at Sandown. We have 200 kilometres, 65 laps of this circuit. The guys have put in a lot of practice over the last couple of days, and we can see some really sharp times up in the pointy end of the field. In qualifying, we had Jason Bentz topping out the times with the 106.6. So yeah, we are just trying to bring up my stick. Tonight we've got Jamie McKnight and Scott Gamble leading the championship equal points. However, Scott Gamble's actually winning on top 5 finishes, so it's pretty tight at the top end there, which is good to see. So we've got about 2 minutes until we start to grid up. And the boys just getting their eyes in, getting some lines right, and doing a bit more practice before we grid up. We're looking at Greg Sharp there. He's coming along the back straight. So I think he had some good results last week. Although we didn't get a chance to broadcast. Luke has been very crook with the flu, and unfortunately with his other commitments he hasn't really had time, so we're just glad that even though he can't stream tonight, that we can get something out there and get the guys broadcast. $30 more seconds now and until we start the gridding process. It's going to be very tight around the first couple of corners, so that's going to be something to look out for. See there, Jason Dixon going through turns 2, 3 and 4. It's going to be very tight. No doubt we're going to see some door-to-door action through that area of the track. Michael Stewart, we've just flicked over to him now. He's got his best start in the V8 Vets season to date. He's doing very well in the championship, so he'll be someone to look out for tonight. The boys are starting to get up now. We go to the grid where we've got Jason Bentz on pole position with Michael Dumbrell. Spot 2. Second row, we've got Scott Gamble and Greg Favell, followed by Jason Dixon and Jeff Thomas. Michael Stewart there in 7th position. Brendan Nishke from the Frog Leap Juice Racing team. Nice striking livery. Greg Sharp, Sebastian Tixia rounding out the top 10. Steve Kennedy, Scott Neckminute McCune on the 6th row. Tim Nichols, Stuart Hall, the People's Champion Jamie McKnight in 15th, 16th Matt Vander, I'm not sure what his last name is, sorry, Andrew Hoffey, Andrew Ritchie in 17th and 18th, Christian Smart, Travis Hunt, with Damien Cairns from Taipan, Chad Viger in 22nd, Dan Hall, John King in 23rd and 24th. Flick over and we've got Kirby, Crysdale, Brenton O'Brien, Visma in 27th, 28th, Warren Davis, Matty Parker rounding out the top 30. We go to Stephen Banks, Peter Vanderkran, Todd Duggan, Brian Good in 33rd, 34th, Marty Hansen 35th, followed by Dave Coleman from Fishy Motorsports. Warren Davis 29th, Dave Coleman. Then we've got Chad Lewis, ERT, Dean Flavelle in 39th, and then 40th we have Craig Friend, the safety car, seemed to be up in 37th there. Just joined by Nathan Brown. Nathan,
Hey
how are you?
guys, yeah, not bad. How are we all going?
Very good, very good. We've just finished walking through the grid. Yeah, we're just waiting for a race start now.
Yeah, now we're getting to the exciting part of the night. We are.
This is it. This first first couple of laps and these first couple of turns are going to be very interesting.
Yeah, we haven't had Sandown very long in the iRacing scene, so it'll be very interesting to see how they all filter through and if we can get through carnage free or not.
Yeah, and look, a lot of the guys here were in the Sandown 500s. They've had a little bit of experience, but like you say, overall on the platform, it's still quite a new track. So. The countdown to green now. And here we go.
Where away they're going everywhere they are, trying to find every bit of space they can. Oh, there we go. There's one on the wall doing a bit of a pirouette.
Like the Taipan car's just done a barrel roll up the back there. Who's
that? Plenty of carnage going on.
A lot going on.
I need to go.
I don't know where to look.
Safety car.
And that's a safety car very early on in the race there. I think I heard Jason Dixon on Taipan driver call out for a safety car there and for a tow. So that as we suspected, it was going to be very tight entry into turn 1 and 2 there.
Yeah. To be honest, I did expect to make it to turn 1, but that sure there's going to be a few good replays out there tonight. That's for sure.
Yeah, we might see if we can find a replay of what happened there with. Looks like we might have something here from the start. You can see here as they start to spread out. And then it looks like there we can see we've zoomed in on Jason Dixon, and it might looks like someone's just giving him a bit of door.
Yeah.
65 laps, yeah.
Oh, that's not where the fence has grabbed a hold of him and thrown him back. That's not something you see too often there.
No, it's not much coming back from that. I'm surprised he didn't take out more cars.
9 on the first corner, please.
But the rest of turn 1 seemed to have a big flow-on effect for that, though. But many, it'll be interesting to see how many come out of it, gaining many spots, and how many were losers out of that. So hopefully, fingers crossed, everyone can get it going and we can get back to green soon.
Yeah, well, I can see an ERT car is in the pits there. That looks like, is it Dan Hall? And there might be another couple that were caught up in that first incident there. They've just had to duck in for probably their first and only fast repair for the race.
Yeah, it's not something that you'd want to be using this early on in the race, but at the end of the day, if you have to get going, it'll certainly change their approach a little bit to how hard they battle later on, but it'll make for good racing tonight, it will.
It definitely will. On the back straight now, and Greg Favel's plenty his starting position there. He's made up a few spots off the start on that first turn, so he's one of the beneficiaries of that incident there. So starting from 4th, he's made his way up to 1st.
Safety car and I will
he'll be taking that at this point in the race, so it's not as easy to save fuel around this track, but it'll be interesting to see what the boys behind do, if they want that piece of real estate up the front, or if they'll just want to sit behind him and try and save what they can.
Just on board with Michael Stewart there. Looks like we're going to be going around for another lap. I didn't hear the safety car call. I think this may be the last lap. We can see we've actually got Michael Stewart's on board there in the VR. He's got the fan blasting. You can see the bin the blade for Balin sticker there, which, as I understand, got some pretty good traction in the media coming up this week. So that's good, and that's for a good cause.
Yeah, most definitely. It's very good that everyone sort of got behind the bin the blade and the whole campaign and that. So it's fantastic to see everyone still still getting in there and still supporting it very, very well.
Yeah, absolutely. And I was saying before that Michael said his best start to a vet season to date. I think he was third in the championship at the start of the round. So be someone to watch this race, and see how he performs.
Yeah, most definitely.
Taipan eSports here, we've got Damien Cairns on screen. He's giving us, I don't know if he's waving at us or if he's, I think he might be talking to his wife or someone in the family there.
We'll take it as a wave to us, so we'll take it where we can get him.
Absolutely.
R1, you will have control of the field.
So it looks like the safety car's driving away now.
The safety car is in the pit lane.
Greg Favel's going to have the lead of the race. So the safety car pulls away.
So I wonder this time, are we going to be able to get as clean of a run out to the first corner and through the first corner, or are we going to see a little bit more action?
Well, let's hope
to see their mindsets.
Safety car's pulling away now.
Yeah, and the safety car's pulling away now, so keep an eye on Greg Favel for the jump. I think with the single file, hopefully we can see a little bit of a cleaner run through those first couple of corners. Brendan Nitschke in second place there. He's up 6 spots from the start, so he's done pretty well there too. So watching Greg now. He's pulled away.
Yeah, gone away nice and early there, he has.
So far not a lot of overlapping, so this might lead to some a couple of clean laps.
Yeah, so yeah, they all seem to be easily making it through there this time, which is great to see.
So they've found their place. They're going to file through single file. Now it's just going to be a matter of sticking on the wing of the guy in front and trying to pass safely. Greg's pulled a little bit of a gap there on Nitschke, just out to 0.7 of a second, so he's had a good jump.
Yeah, most definitely looks like he's certainly put the foot down and trying to gap and get out of what slipstream effect there is. Oh, who's that going a little bit wide there? A bit of an entertaining way to go through that section into Dandenong.
Is that Andrew Ritchie there? Number 13. Five laps down, 65 to go. I haven't got any information on the fuel number, so I might just see if we can't get some information on the fuel numbers. I think this will definitely be a two-stopper. So even with that early stop, there is no way that anyone can get home on that first stop alone. So
I'll see what I'll see if my mate Larko can lend us his board for a minute, and I'll get back to you on that one. See if there's any see if we can find any fuel usage per lap numbers or anything along those lines as we go through that.
I've just received word here. We've got 65 laps, so we've obviously got 50 litres of starting fuel, which is it's about the 20 lap mark. We can fill up to 70%, so roughly the 31 laps. So critical laps are going to be 3 and 34. That was based on Rick Vigar's fuel burn of about 2.5 per lap. So they're going to be the laps to look out for around that lap 3 and the 34. So whether or not that that early safety car with enough fuel saving is going to be too early, I guess we're not going to know that until we get further down into the pit strategy. Damien Cairns, Dan Hall, Matty Parker, Christian Smart all having Jason Dixon obviously all having a pit stop early on, as we look now at Greg Favel, who's taken that gap out to 1.4, 1.5 seconds. So he's really put the foot down early on.
Yeah, I think he's just trying to break that gap, break that toe, and then maybe fuel saving might be a bit of a thing in his mind later, but it certainly looks like he's just trying to run away from the boys here.
And look, we've seen Greg obviously very strong in the vets, obviously being the winner of the championship in Split 1 last season, and he hasn't been very he hasn't had some fantastic results so far in this season. I'll just bring up his results now, but I think he's sitting down past 15th place. So he's been a little bit unfortunate. I think he's had an incident. I'm not sure if he had a do not finish at this stage, but yeah, this is obviously a testament to his driving. But
yeah, consistency is a big thing, and especially in these sorts of leagues that go on for so long. Yeah, you have a few results that don't quite go your way, and even though you might have the pace, it makes it very, very hard to reclose that gap to the other guys that sort of consistently finish top 5, top 10 all the time. So hopefully he can get on a bit of a roll, and he's showing tonight, and he's certainly got the pace to take it to him. So it'll be interesting to see how he goes.
yeah, and interestingly enough, the if you look at, I think we're running through some stats the other night with Mr. Ben Anthony, and the top 5 people. Out of the top 5, I think there's only been 2 race winners. So consistency and those continual top 5, top 10 finishes are really what gets you home at the end of the season. There's Sebastian Tixier now in P4. He's running, looks like to be an old Renault livery, an F3 livery. Just heard some discussions about during the week, so that quite suits the Mustang, that one.
Yeah, it certainly caught my eye there as it was going around in the background. It's certainly different to say the least, but it stands out. I mean, out of all the cars going everywhere, it certainly caught my eye. So he's got that going for him.
The British Touring Car Championship livery, that is.
That's where it's from. Yeah, I would have been picking away at that all night trying, and I don't think I would have got it, but would have been bugging at me. It would have.
We might go back down the path a little bit, see how Brenton O'Brien. He's caught up in a little battle pack there, defending from a few cars. With a bit of a go to the car in front there, just over a second. Hot on his tail, I think he's got Dumbrell, Davis and Hunt. And we've got a car around.
Oh, that's certainly not good there. He's a nice little flick spin though to stay out of the way if you don't need it. Oh. He's got away well, there, yeah, it was very well done.
I'm just going to have another look at that there. Looks like he's just gone and he's locked a brake there, forced him a little bit wide.
A little bit of a bump from behind it. Oh,
I think that might have been a little bit of net code there too.
Yeah.
That's unlucky, and he's lost quite a few spots there, 6 or 7 spots.
Yeah, hopefully he can get it going. Hopefully he didn't have to use his fast repair on that earlier. He didn't pit early on, did he, in that first safety car? I don't think. Hopefully he might still have a fast repair up his sleeve.
I think that it looks like this is only his first pit stop, so being within the pit window, he may be able to come back from that and just regain some positions through the pit cycles. It's from there with Todd Duggan now, Nova Motorsports. It's tucked in right underneath Marty Hansen. There's a bit of a train forming behind Marty there too. Another 6 or 7 cars. Ted Lewis, an ERT car as well. Just slowly trying to put some pressure on Craig Friend. So we've just had a pit lane penalty come through there. Car 543 causing contact with an incident on lap 3 it must have been.
Overall, they all seem to be getting into a pretty good rhythm though, and they all seem to be sorted themselves out. There was a few little things going on there, but they're all sitting relatively a little bit spaced out, I guess you could even say.
Yeah, and I think it's probably at this point that the fuel saving and the strategy is going to start playing on the guys' minds. where they're obviously they're going to be thinking about when their stop is, where they're going to come out in traffic. As we see Michael Dumbrell, his camera view there, right behind.
A little bit of a look, isn't he?
Yeah, I think
he's playing the mind games.
He's showing his nose just to see if he can apply that little bit of pressure to O'Brien there, see if he can force a mistake. HSR car, nice looking livery. It's on board with Robert Crysdale now. Oh wow, he's very close to Kirby up the back wing there.
It doesn't get much closer than that.
There we go. We've got Scott Gamble's the first to go on the regular cycle, I think, without damage. So he's obviously opted for the early fuel. Oh no, that was the drive-through penalty for 5.43.
Ah, yeah, yep.
So that's going to hurt Scott there, dropping back so far into 25th, 26th, losing 23 positions. So he's got a bit of work to do to try to make that up now.
Yeah, he'll have to certainly, put the pedal to the metal, as they say, and give it a go. And he certainly looks like he's not wasting any time at all at trying to get back into it.
We're just having a look at this replay here, just where the incident may have occurred. This is a lap 1 incident. There's the penalty. It looks like it might have been Bents that he's taken out there on turn 1. So
yeah, a little unfortunate tap there, but he gave it a go though. I guess that's one thing he's got going for him. But sometimes giving it a go doesn't always fall in your favour, though. Unfortunately,
65 laps to go. He might look back at that and maybe wish he'd broken a little bit earlier, but.
Hindsight's always a great thing.
Always 20/20, isn't it? Back with Tixie there in the British Touring Car Championship livery, as he's got a little bit sideways onto the curb coming onto the back straight, which is, in my experience, one way that you can very easily heat up your tyres here, and it's the way that the camber of the road falls off onto that curb. It's very easy to do. Throttle controls quite important.
Yeah, most definitely. And I had a little bit of experience here personally, and it was in that Sandown 500 that was hosted when the track just came out. And yeah, patience around here is such a big thing. As soon as you do exactly what you say, as soon as you get a little bit too excited or heat up those rear tyres too much, it takes a lap or two before you sort of really get back into a bit of a rhythm. So yeah, hopefully, if you do get yourself in that situation, there's no one right up your clacker that you lose a spot to, and you can sort of get back in your rhythm and start putting pressure on the guy in front again.
Yeah, and rhythm really is the key. Over 65 laps, I think hitting your marks every time is really what gets you those spots. And being fast every lap is fine, but being consistent, I think, is more important at a track like this, where there's not a lot of overtaking opportunities and mistakes are very heavily punished. See Scott McMinn at the queue there in the 77 on board.
Yeah, it's very, very easy. Like if you do end up getting stuck behind someone, you got to very, very convincingly, further what you said there, you got to very convincingly go for it, know that you can pull it up. But it's so easy to lock a brake around here as well. Like, one thing that's very interesting about Sandown is how bumpy it is. Like, everywhere you're going into, almost every corner's got bumps leading into it. Like, there's not many that are easy, shall I say.
Yeah, I don't think you ever fall into the camber of the road, and I really do think you have to settle the car and be confident in your braking, and that's what you see with these guys in the pointy end of the field. They're consistently week in, week out, not just at Sandown. They're so confident in their braking and their and their turning points. They're bang on, and that's just what makes these guys stand out. As we see, it's that Kirby there trying to showing the nose to Crysdale, and decides to back out. on board with Travis Hunt, which I believe that Travis Hunt is the Series 2, the Split 2 champion from last season, automatically qualifying for top split. So it's good to see him up in the top 20 there.
Yeah. So, like, to have that initiative or that incentive that if you do win the championship going straight on through, that it gives you that free pass to use, if that's a saying to use, to really get up there and mix it up with some of those quick boys and see where you really stack up against them. So, yeah, certainly great initiative for any of them in Split 2 to give it a red hot go.
Yep, and to his credit, to be in the top 20, in the top split, I think is, it's no mean feat. It's, these guys, they might be over 40, but they race pretty hard. So, well done to Travis on that. Jason Bentz now right over the back of Damien Cairns. Looks like he's breaking pretty deep there, and he's going to take the inside, and he may even get the job done. So he's just moved up to 26 now with a pass on Cairns. Jason Bentz, so he's obviously lost quite a few spots there coming from pole position, and that would have been due to that incident with Scott Gamble on the first corner on lap 1. So he's got a bit of a job ahead of him too there.
Yeah, and if you do get caught up in something like that, it's very, very easy to sort of lose your head, or not quite, to go back to the consistency point that you made. It's very easy to lose that consistency because you go, oh, I can be up there, I should be up there, I really want to get there again, and before you know it, you're not quite hitting your marks, you're not quite getting good drive off the corner. So to just level your head, slow yourself down, and get back into doing what you're doing and just seeing where you end up, it's a lot easier said than done, that's for sure.
It is, and Jason's shown a lot of pace and a lot of patience in the series so far. So it'd be interesting to see how he handles being in the mid pack after spending a lot of time up the pointy end and with a few pole positions as well. So we've got Dan Hall, number 24, in the ERT livery. Sorry, in position 24. He's dropped a spot since the start. He's in a bit of a battle pack there, and it looks like he might just be comfortable doing a bit of fuel saving in behind Todd Duggan.
Yeah, if you know that you're not going to, with how hard it is to pass around you, if you know you can't quite get the bloke in front sort of comfortably, especially this early on in the race, you're better off, saving what fuel you can, because, even 0.1, 0.2 litres per lap doesn't sound like that much, but it's certainly over a long period of time around here, and 65 laps can really set you up for that final stint.
And then Jason Bentz there is, I think he's
caught it.
He has caught it. It's a shame for Jason there. It's almost a repeat of what happened between him and Scott Gamble in that first lap.
I wonder if it's like those bumps that are really starting to upset him a tad. That's like we were talking about earlier on. A little bit different on the inside compared to the outside there going into turn 1. Yeah,
and I think unless you're taking that line a lot, if you've been taking the regular race line and all of a sudden you throw yourself somewhere different, it can be very easy to unsettle the car and just not have that right feeling. As we see, Scott McCune is in the pits now. It looks like Michael Stewart's in. Christian Smart's in again. Dave Coleman's in the safety car. So there's a few people in the pits now, lap 19. So still within that pit window to be interesting to see how they go and where they come out. With Michael Stewart's got Craig Friends in the pits as well. So at the moment, Jason Dixon, obviously on that first lap, he was the first of the one-stoppers in the pits. Who else have we got? We've got Dan Hall. He's stopped as well. So there might be one to watch on board with Damien Cairns. The Taipan eSports logo in the background there. He's done well. That's a nice logo.
It's a great setup he's got there. He's got the fancy light and everything underneath it. Looks fantastic, even on the side of the sim there too.
Yeah, it does. He usually gives us a wave, so I'm sure in a minute we'll get a wave out of Damien. Maybe not down when he's down gearing into turn 7 and 8.
Yeah, so if he does it through there, I'd be impressed because I know I was very on edge every time going through there, so it's a very hard part of the track.
And looking back from Damien now, he's got Bence right on his tail. And just like you say, it doesn't get much closer there. Bence putting a bit of pressure on Damien, who seems to be handling that well, although looks like he's almost hit a... in fact, I might have. I think he actually did hit a car entering the pits there.
Yeah, yeah, he got very close very quickly behind. That'll be interesting to see what transpired there. But it was they seem to have sorted themselves out. They've all made it through and still going on. So I guess that's a positive out of it.
Yeah, look, he's going to be carrying that damage. It looks like there. So he'll be coming back to her.
Oh yeah, must have just slowed up for the car. Yeah.
That's a little bit unlucky for him there, but that's a risky run. I tell you what. And I think
could have been a lot worse.
Yeah, that really could.
But you get that. Any track with a short entry into the pit lane always makes for an interesting situation, especially when the boys are this close to one another.
Yeah, and so the leader now, Greg Favel's gone into the pit, so that brings Stuart Hall, we've got on screen now, into the lead of the race. We've got Tim Nicol, Andrew Ritchie, Crysdale, Matt Vanderkraan, Bretton O'Brien still yet to pit, Travis Hunt still yet to pit, so they'll be wanting to watch out for these guys and see where they come out in relation to if they've managed an undercut.
Yeah, because the undercut can certainly be a very, very big tactical play around here. Like you might have good pace, but if you can just get that little bit of track position or gain a second in the pits over your rival, it can be huge as you get through the next stint. But going into the middle stint though, it can be interesting. If you're trying to set up for the final stint, if you undercut now, old mate behind you is going to be saving that fuel, which is what you were doing just to him beforehand. So very interesting how it pans out and how it might be able to, depends on, I guess, where you are on the pack as well. If you're in a two-car battle, you might be better off staying behind him. If you're in a multi-car battle, then yeah, I guess try and jump as many as you can and still save the fuel for the guys that are in front of you.
So looking at Brenton Nitschke now in P12, so he's, I think, the effective race leader, having pitted on lap 19, so he's actually undercut Greg Favel there. So his pit stop was about 6 seconds shorter, so he's opted for less fuel in this stint. Yep. So as you say, it'll be interesting to see how that plays out over the last stint, and how Greg and Brenton managed their fuel for this stint. So he's showing the fuel times there, so we can see that Nitschke's gone 26.9 seconds, stop in pits, Favel 32.4, so there's almost 6 seconds there. Sharp 25.2, so he's also opted for a fairly short pit stop, and Vanderkraan is at 15.2 seconds, so he might have just done a splash in order to...
that must be getting that track position that we were talking about. There was a few other boys. Yeah, a few other boys in there with 30-odd second stints as well, so if they can do a splash and dash later on, it'll be interesting to see how it goes. And someone like Jamie McKnight, who's well-renowned everywhere for the amount that he can save in fuel, in fact, he had a really, really long pit stop. He must be banking on a really short pit stop for the second one to get him home, so yeah, it'll be interesting to see how it pans out.
He definitely is a bit of a fuel miser, and I think that him coming out with a very short last pit stop is going to be quite interesting, and I think that could add in quite a few spots. So he's following Michael Stewart there through turn 1. And to see the People's Champion, the most winningest driver in V8 Vets history to date.
Yeah, that's a pretty cool stat to have your name. He's always a very chirpy bloke, always very happy every time you sort of talk to him. He's always, I'm assuming, has a smile on his face. Not that we really see anyone in simulator world, but he sounds like the bloke that would always have a smile on his face.
He does, and I win, lose or draw, he is the kind of racer who always has fun. You know, and a lot of people. That's why he's the people's champion, not because he wins so much, but because people love him. Because he just, you know, he sports that attitude that people like to see. He's competitive, but you know, he really does enjoy seeing other people enjoy sim racing, and that, you know, that's a great thing. You know, him working hard over the weekend, working on that setup, and you know, he loves the feedback that the guys give him, and they build some great setups. So, which is evidenced by, you know, by what we're seeing here. So, Jeff Thomas is we've got his in-car over his right shoulder in sim, and on his sim as well in the bottom right of the screen there. With him up in P8, so he's done alright there from the start of the race. So yeah, he's down 2 spots with 1 pit stop. There is a couple of people in front that have pitted twice already with damage, so effectively could be up a couple of spots from where he started. So it's well done by him.
Yeah, it's always a little bit of limbo this part of the race, isn't it? And as a driver, as these boys go through it, you kind of sort of forget where you are, or you don't take too much notice about where you are in the pack at the moment. Yeah, because as we saw, especially with those fuel numbers, and also some of those guys that have done 2 pit stops already, like everyone's out of sequence at the moment. So you just gotta head down, bum up, and see how well you go in here and how it all pans out for the final stint.
Yeah, that's it. As we see, looks like McKnight there is just slowly closing and put a bit more pressure onto Stewart. Up onto the back straight. Got Stewart there. Pitted on lap 21. Sorry. Michael Stewart's pitted on lap 18 there, taking only 28 seconds of fuel. So a couple of seconds shy of what Jamie's taken. So this would be a good opportunity for Jamie to just tuck in and save a bit of extra fuel.
Yeah, it's tucking behind, and yeah, exactly like you said, do what he does best and save as much as possible. So it'll be interesting to see who has the shortest pit stop of the night. Overall, like if they took a longer one at the start here, those boys that are saving fuel now, how short is that final stop going to be?
Yeah, and that's really going to play a part in those, you know, that final stint where those extra seconds in the pits are going to hurt the guys who've opted for the shorter stop to begin with. So that'll be interesting. We can see there the pit windows and the pit times again, with Benz obviously having to pit early, and so he's going to be forced to pit pretty soon. Nitschke 26.9 and Fell. So the guys are all within a couple of seconds there. Sharp, he was you know, quite a few seconds slower. So fairly even, but I think that the fuel saving strategies are going to be what really determines that at the end of this pit cycle.
Yeah, and we are also getting closer to that critical lap number of lap 34 that we were talking about earlier. So it'll be, yeah, I wonder if some of the boys, even if they've already done 2 stops already, some of those ones caught early on, or those guys that sort of went a little bit longer in it, I wonder how many are going to try and pit as early as possible to hit that fuel number to just bring it home on fuel, or I wonder how many are going to go the opposite way and try and push a little bit longer, or go as long as they can in this middle stint, have fresher tyres and hope that they've got the pace to overtake. So 2 different ways you can play this game at the moment.
Race control. Nobby. Requesting a tow.
So it looks like Christian Smart's on the radio there requesting a tow. So this could be interesting. It looks like he might be stuck in the wall. And this is one of those corners down, I think it might be turns 8 and 9, and they've caught a safety car there.
Wow, here we go. This is going to really mix up that strategy that we were just talking about.
And I think what we might find is we're going to see a lot of people jump into pits now.
Yeah.
Because I think, you know, the likes of Jamie McKnight can definitely, even with a third lap 34 being that magic number, I think we're definitely going to be able to see him make that home. With Christian, unfortunately, looks like he might have just done that to himself and put himself in the wall.
Yeah, it is very tricky going into there, into Dandenong, and then like trying to pull it up as well as you can. Their tyres are already really hot, brake temperature's really, really high. It's very easy, and it looks like he's just nicked the curb.
Oh, look, and that's unlucky. Who was that that's tagged him? And there's probably not really anywhere you can go in that instance.
No, it's yeah, like you said. Yeah, exactly. It's like a Swiss cheese effect, except then everything in the wrong way, which is not what you want, though. So, unfortunate for Mr. Smart. That's not what we like to see.
And Jason Dixon, obviously in the first, this might benefit him somewhat. In the first lap there, he's been on the roof and he's been forced to come in and pit early. So safety car at this stage, it may help him if he can get in and get out fairly quickly.
Safety car is at turn 2.
So we can see there.
Past safety car.
Looks like we've got Dixon is out in front there.
Yep,
Mitchke, Tixia. Yeah, the stewards at the end of the pit lane there just having a chat. Not seem to be worried about the race.
Yeah, they're in cruise control mode, those guys there. I wonder what they're talking about.
I might see if there's someone that we can get up into. See if we can bring someone up into the channel.
Yeah, it'd be great to get a driver's eye view if possible at to see how they're going and see what some of their thoughts are. But yeah, it's certainly hitting the reset button we are now for this second half of the race. So we're not quite halfway through it though.
Following it up, boys, at the end of the pack today.
Yes, as they're all seem to be slowly filing in. Everyone's catching up to the train. Good, like a big concertina effect. Christian's still stuck there on the wall, which is very unfortunate. Yes, it's perfect time to certainly hit that reset button mentally as a driver as well, and get back in your rhythm, get back in your seat, get a little bit comfortable, clutch in as much as you possibly can whilst the safety car is going around. Save as much fuel as you can.
We've just brought Damien Cairns in for a chat now.
Hey Damien, how are you?
Hey boys, how are we?
Yeah, not bad. How are things going for you?
Yeah, not too bad. I did it on the first safety car and was doing all right. Just got to see where we play out now.
Yep.
Got about 22 laps of fuel, so let's work out number 11, so I'm pretty happy with that.
Yep.
Be a bit of a splash and dash at the end and we'll see how we go.
Yep.
Looks like Jason might have benefited quite a lot from that safety car, having pitted early in that first lap, and
you're in
he's
front
now
of
up into third position, so he's done really well out of that.
Yeah, I said to the boys we should pit because it worked out at Fuji. Whoever pitted on that first safety car, it worked out.
Blue flag section, so I just
but yeah, no, definitely pitting on the safety car is the way to go, I think.
And it looks like, just looking at the numbers here, that Greg Favell hasn't pitted on that safety car, which might end up hurting him. There we've got Travis Hunt hasn't pitted as well, Warren Davis. So these guys, without another safety car, are going to have to pit under green, which might be a bit costly.
Yeah, and we can't quite make it home yet. We need about another 5 laps before you can really bring it home. So it just depends on safety cars and see how we go from there.
Here's a question for you. Do you think it's worthwhile taking a punt and pushing as hard as you can and hoping for that safety car, or do you think it's worthwhile trying your best to try and save 5 laps worth of fuel? What mindset are you in?
I'm pretty much in the mindset I'm just going to sit behind Jeff and try and just stick on the back of him, and I'm not going to try and pass him unless he makes a mistake, just to save a bit of fuel, but just try and keep up with him.
Yep.
And yeah, go from there.
We'll let you know when
That sounds like a pretty good plan there, because as we know, as we've already seen, anything can happen around here at Sandown. So
Yeah, that's right.
Well, thanks, Damien. We'll drop you back into your team chat there.
No worries, boys.
For the race.
Thank you
Thanks,
very
mate.
much.
Thanks to Damien there for coming and having a chat. As we see, Greg Bell is in charge of the restart once again.
Wonder when he's going to go. He's gone right on the apex of the corner.
Yep,
And he's got a great jump again, he has. As they all file into turn one, everyone seems to be making their way through. Same as the first safety car, seem to be getting into that rhythm straight away. No big movers or shakers going on just yet. But one huge part for everyone is they're all on cold tyres again now, so it'll be interesting to see who can really get them up to temp soon and start pumping out those good lap times again, and who sort of struggles on the colder tyre before they warm up. So very easy to make mistakes in these sorts of situations.
It is, and with the flat track and being so bumpy, those cold tyres can really punish you if you're not careful on that first outlap, those first couple of laps until they're up to temperature. We've just seen Scott Campbell doing an ignite shoot past the camera there. Scott Campbell had his he's done one pit stop according to the timing.
Sorry, Matt.
With him up into 14th, so he's fallen back a few positions from that first lap incident.
Well, it's a very awkward kind of, very awkward timing, that safety car, wasn't it? It's just short of, where we were trying to get to bring it home. But based off the numbers that you threw around before and some of the, the amount of maximum laps that you can get out of it, like if you can get those 31 laps of an average sort of fuel burn, if you're someone like Jamie McKnight who can really save the fuel, and any of the other guys that are fantastic fuel savers, like, do you take the punt and you don't fight anyone and you hope that you don't have to transit pit lane one more time? And do you hope that you can stretch it to a 35 lap stint?
Yeah, and I guess if you could save enough and slow yourself down by 3, 4, 5 tenths a lap, do you make that back? You're not having to pit again. I guess that's the question. I did have some more information come to me that some of the guys are using, almost 2.3 litres per lap. So a little bit more than what we first thought. So for those guys, I think they're really going to struggle if they try to stretch that out beyond that sort of 30 to 31 lap mark. So Nathan Betts is down 7 spots from where he started. So we saw some aggressive moves from him in that middle stint. So he'll be one to keep an eye on here as he follows Greg Sharp into turns 7 and 8.
But just having a look at sort of some of the starting positions and where some of the guys are at the moment, there's a few big movers in the field. Like we've got Travis Hunt, who started in 20th and now is up into 5th place. We've got Warren Davis, who's gained 20 spots, gone from 29th up to 9th. I guess we might have a few more, a bit more fuel strategy coming into it as well, but still to be up 20 spots is a huge gain there. And the next man as well, Craig Friend, who's gone from 40th to 16th. It's a huge gain there. Stephen Banks, 31st to 19th. Like, there's a few guys that have made a number of spots up throughout this race so far, so they've got themselves in a good position.
Yeah, and when it does come down to the guys like Damien, who has pitted twice, and as we heard him say there, he he needs to have another splash and dash. So he's going to have to transit pit lane another time. And these guys who are still running the single stop strategy, obviously they're going to have to pit and take more fuel, but they're going to save that single trip down the pit lane. So there's spots to be gained there for those guys too, if they play their cards right in these next 15 to 20 laps.
I am very impressed with the standard of driving, because normally, as the saying goes, safety cars bring safety cars, and again, in the short time that we've had Sandown here as a track in iRacing, it's one of those tracks that definitely, it's not a surprise when you do hear the word safety car. So everyone seems to be doing very well to be settling themselves down and getting into a good rhythm, and yeah, good standard of driving overall tonight, which is fantastic to see.
I think that's what we've sort of come to expect from the guys in this bit. These guys are generally quite respectful. They do race hard. They don't pull any punches, but they do generally show each other a lot of courtesy. And you saw that in the last safety car. That was predominantly Christian Smart. He did most of that on his own. Obviously, got a bit of help there at the end, but for there to really only be sort of one safety car at the start is quite good. Cairns again up 10 spots. He's on the two-stop strategy. Looks like we've got Scott Gamble. It looks like he might have just dived into the pits.
Yeah, this will be interesting to see how he pans out, because he, I guess he had that drive through earlier, but also he's the first man that'll have officially pitted that can bring it home on the tank of fuel. So I wonder if he's just taking the punt, getting out of that freight train, getting out of the traffic, wanting that clear air, trying the ultimate undercut.
and for the guys that do have to splash and pit after this, he's bound to make up some spots there, and a well-timed safety car, could benefit him quite a bit there. HSR car of Scott McCune riding into the back of Damien. So Scott sitting comfortably in 12th, right where he started there. Looks like he could get a good run on Damien here. He's almost collected another person in the pits. You can see him showing the nose there, but looks like he's decided to just tuck in behind.
Yeah, playing the good old scare factor there.
It just shows you the level of confidence he's got there, moving across and really getting in the mirrors all the while, followed pretty closely by Jamie McKnight. So, I can say that I spent, a lot of time racing against Scott, 18 months ago, and he's just come such a long way. He's gotten quite quick, and I really enjoy watching him race. And the livery looks fantastic. I like that hypersonic racing car there too.
There's certainly a few good looking liveries out there, and yeah, the guys are very, very well presented, and also, like I was saying before, very, very high standard of racing, very well presented. Great seeing people sort of step forward in leaps and bounds, especially when they keep looking at their own personal goals and seeing how far they can push themselves and start getting the results. So yeah, it's all very, very good to see. It is.
Someone we haven't spent much time on board with tonight, Andrew Hoffman. Might go and see how Mr. Hoffman, how he's doing. He looks like he might have, he's got a few scars there.
Yeah, there's a few stories to tell by the looks of that car. So it's certainly going to be one of the more cooler running motors from the looks of that.
Just with the speed hole at the front there. Dropped 16 places since the start, and that's with his third stop, I think his third stop was on lap 29, so he's going to have to stop again to get to the end of the race. So not a great outing for Andrew at the moment.
But he has managed to keep it on the lead lap though, and that's very impressive because it is very, very easy around here to go a lap down.
Not on a short track, you know, with the pace of the guys at the front, obviously carrying damage. You got to take your hat off to him for being able to do that, you know.
Yeah, most definitely.
Team Scorpion car there, Travis Hunt. Another cracking livery. I don't mind the pink, the black highlights and the blue. Big Hunt under the back wing. See Dixie there. He's gonna be trying to keep in that draft. Well, it looks might be serving a slowdown there. Okay, and he stopped in the middle of the track. I heard a call over the race channel there. Didn't quite grab what that was. I'm not sure if he's blown an engine. That's not a very good place to stop there.
Safety car, safety car, safety car.
And then there comes out another safety car.
Wow, all those.
Wow.
Yeah.
It looks like we might have even just had an incident there a little bit further down with one of the Taipan cars.
I did see another car go off, I think it was, turn 3, turn 4 roughly. But yeah, this is going to be really, really interesting because now it's all come down to who has the least amount of fuel to add into their car because... Yeah, we know everyone can top up now and bring it the whole way home. So whoever's got the least amount of fuel to add in is going to gain massively through this pit stop here and this safety car.
Yep, and then being inside that last pit window is really going to be interesting to see.
Come on, boys, let's go.
Terrible spot to...
Have I got a bonnet, Greg?
It looks like we're just going to rewind back here and see if we can't find what's happened. We can see he's just filed in
85 is the leader, safety car's at turn 1.
Can't see any smoke. Yeah, can't really hear anything there. Jason Bent's lucky not to collect him there. I think it may have been a better move to push over to the other side of the track there for Sebastian. And you can see there, you know, the guys tucked in behind one another, unable to really gauge the distance and see him there. And you can see here, it looks like... No, I think if we stay on this picture here, we can actually see another Taipan car.
Have a look at the exit of...
And that might be an isolated incident there. It looks like Marty Hansen is coming at the wall.
Yeah, there's a few close calls there. It's wow, but yeah, it's amazing that all the boys managed to make it through without actually collecting him though.
Yeah.
Michael,
I'm sure race control will have a couple of words with him about that stopping position there, I think.
all crossed up for Marty there. Yeah, it's
this doesn't
got away with that. He did. What pit entry on my lap? Would have been 40, I think.
Both ERT cars there, just narrowly avoiding the contact with Marty.
Just checked our pit entry on the last lap, and there was a bit of an incident there with the two cars.
Yeah, CBC Jeff Thomas. So he was the winner of the racecraft rig from last season. Probably he'll be in control once that safety car pulls away.
Yeah, I wonder when he's going to pull the trigger, and if he's going to try and hold it up later, or if he's going to try his best to go early and see what sort of gap he can pull. So,
well, having so he's pitted. His second pit stop was on lap 28. So with that was under that second safety car, and now with this one, whether or not this is going to allow him to save enough fuel to get home, that's what we're gonna find out. John King currently in a similar position here, having pitted on lap 22 for his second pit stop. See a couple of people moving into the pits there now.
Yeah, 55.
Bird's eye view of the track.
Sebastian, no, this safety car you cannot.
He's got the green flag ready to go there, the marshal. So everyone's going on through. Not quite green flag yet, but he's keen as been for it.
You can see there, is that Marty? Looks like Marty Hansen might, after his collision with the wall, I think he might have lost that fight. He's just in the pits now, getting some repairs.
Yeah, well, if you're towards the back end of this train here, it's certainly be a smarter move to do. Come in, get any repairs that you need done, or if you still got a fast repair up your sleeve, definitely use it up. Then yeah, get yourself in the best position possible to overtake as many cars as you can in these last very intense, who are we, 22, 23 laps roughly to go?
Yeah, that's
by
right.
the time we go green.
And just looking here at the guys that have pitted on lap 40, we've got Brenton Nitschke, Greg Favell, Greg Sharp, Dixon, Stuart Hall, McCune, Jason Bentz, Jamie McKnight's pitted on lap 39, so he may have actually just beat the safety car in there. So there is there's quite a few guys that are going to be on fresh tyres that are very quick, and I think they're going to apply more pressure to the likes of Matty Parker, John King and Jeff Thomas there, so that'll be one to look out for these first couple of laps after the restart, with Jeff Thomas now in charge of the restart. And there we can see the pit lane transit times on the screen. With we've seen Jeff Thomas pull the trigger, so we're off and racing again.
And he's gone.
So Nitschke having only a 10-second stop, and then Sharp 9 seconds, so very short fuel windows there. McCune 9.5 seconds. So these guys haven't had to take on much fuel. They're gonna see these guys with the fresh tyres from positions 4 backwards really apply the pressure to the guys in front here.
Yeah, it's sort of everything we've been talking about so far is sort of a little bit out the window now, isn't it? We've been talking about fuel and strategy in this final stint, and now that we're here, all that's out the window, and it's just a case of who's got the best pace and who's got the best ability to overtake or defend to hold their position.
Yeah, that's right. You can see JWM there in positions. Is that they're on a 1-2, so they'll be trying to work together to prevent Matty Parker from passing, because track position at this point is going to be really critical to how things look at the end of the race.
And I think Tim Nicol might have been involved in something a little bit there. I think a bit of smoke I saw in the background somewhere. A little unsure as to what that was, but yeah, I think everyone else has basically made it through though on this first lap of the restart, which is yeah, good to see. Everyone's trying to get their tyres up to temp, and everyone's trying to see how we go. There's a beautiful pass there by one of the fishy cars.
Yeah, that's Kirby there, and he's really made that stick quite well, already putting a bit of a gap on Dean Flavell. And that's going to be that difference there with Kirby having, he's pitted in lap 40, so he's got a fresh set of boots on. Dean Flavell's got 6-lap old tyres, so you can see that tyre drop off there really makes a difference into those braking zones and through those direction changes. That's where these guys are going to look to try to get the job done and secure those positions to try to hold for those last 20 laps of the race.
Yeah, for those guys that are on those green tyres, now's the critical time to try and get ahead of as many cars as you can, because once your tyres get a few laps old and once they start getting a little bit worn down, it's going to even itself out pretty quickly. So I'm going to see a few people, I reckon, have a red hot go at trying to throw it in and to do the best they can to get as much track position as possible.
Yeah, with Greg Favell, just as we see there, just putting the pass on Nitschke up the front straight into turn 1, so he's got that done pretty safely. Favell now, he's going to be eyeing off the guys in front, having the fresh tyres out of the top 4 there. So he's going to have them in his sights, and he's going to have that superior drive out of the corners and that braking ability as well. So look to see him really close up the gap on those big braking zones. You can see the different pit stop strategies there. You know, with Favell going 20-20. So he split his fairly evenly over the 65 laps. There's some other guys that have done that shorter stop in the middle, and you can see that in the Thomas King, Matty Parker. They've sort of spread theirs out at the ends and then taken that short stop in the middle to try to gain those positions, which at the moment, you know, they're seeing the fruits of their labour. You can see that they've got those positions by taking that strategy, and now it's a game of trying to hold on for them, seeing if they can make their fuel and tyres last against the attack of Favell and Nitschke and the guys behind there.
What was that? Race control, can you have a look at that?
We've got Todd Duggan there, he's calling out an incident.
So, long way off the road out there.
What have you reckon, mate?
Something must have happened to him.
So he's not, you can hear him blowing up on the radio there, he's not too happy with whoever that was. Looks like Chad Lewis, he's gone for a move up the inside, and
nearly went over.
Yeah, he's almost gone on the roof there, so
that'll be a very interesting one for race control.
He spent a lot of time out on the grass. There's quite a few positions dropped. You can see here it looks like they've come together at quite a difference in speed, and that'll obviously be one for race control, as you say, but I'm not sure that they're going to look favourably upon that. I don't know if he was going to pull that up before the corner there.
Yeah, the other men that aren't going to be too happy are going to be the sign riders for his car there. That's a lot of vinyl wrap they're going to have to replace on that left-hand side for him.
Yeah, look, between that and Scott Gamble there, there's going to be some fist shaking towards Brenton O'Brien. Bit of please explain. Here we go now with Matty Parker. He's got about, what's the gap? It's about 2/10 behind him. He's got Greg Favell, so he's going to really start to apply the pressure, and if Greg can get a good run out of his corner here, we might see him try to make a move at the end of the straight. Looking under the rear wing there. It's a good camera angle. But so Matty Parker's, I think there might be a point where he may need to consider, fuel saving, being on lap 27. So he's got substantially older tyres than what Favell has here. So unless Favell's carrying damage, I'm surprised that he hasn't been able to really close that gap and apply more pressure.
Copy.
There's a bit more chat over race control radio there.
Yeah, and I can see just saw Scott Gamble tumble down the looks like that's the incident that we've just heard called out in race control there.
Big air over that curb.
Mick Yoon coming together there.
Thanks, Tom.
Yeah, it's another very hairy one from the looks of it there. They're certainly pushing hard, these boys, aren't they, in this last stint? They're trying to get as much position as they can, positional gain, and fighting for that track position a bit harder compared to what we were seeing at the start of the race.
Yeah, definitely. And you can see Favell there just trying to get that job done on Matty Parker, which he has. And this could work, if he can catch up to the guys in first and second there. It might be good if Nitschke, Greg will be hoping that Nitschke gets caught behind Matty Parker here and just gives him a little bit of breathing room. Nitschke will be quite quick all race.
Yeah, if it's one less thing for him to worry about because the guys behind are fighting, it certainly will help him concentrate on looking forward and not having to juggle too many things at one time. So it'll be good to see what these boys can do. Someone's having a bit of a look-see in the background there.
And Jason Dixon, I think at the restart, was in about 5th position, so he might have dropped back a couple there, but done quite well out of the safety cars, given that early incident when we got flipped over. Here we see he's shown the nose to Greg, and he's tucked back in behind. Live to fight another day. You can see here that in the last lap, Favel's done 107.8. Jeff Thomas done 107.8, so is John King. So they're keeping pace. It seems to be matching the pace of the guys in front. You can see with the age of the tyres, they're doing quite well.
It'll be interesting, like you just said about that, the age of the tyres, and that'll be interesting to see how the tyre degradation goes and who can keep that pace for the longest.
Yeah, that's right. I mean, we've just seen a penalty come up there. It's a pit lane penalty for car 727, which is Chad Lewis, and he's lap 46. There was an incident there. Looks like we've got Benson, Matty Parker.
Come on, man.
Oh dear.
Matty Parker's just gone off there. You can see Jamie McKnight's just caught the front of him there and ended up with a bit of damage. So that might slow him up.
Yeah, they're all starting to.
It's getting very.
They're getting very passionate. They are, yeah.
Let's have another look at that now. You can see here. Looks like Matty Parker's. Has he slowed down to let someone past, or it's? He seemed to be quite a bit slower than the other cars, and then, yeah. Fortunately, Jamie's just seen him on track and tried to move, and he's just gone the wrong way.
Yeah, it's a very awkward part of that track, isn't it? And if there's someone like Jamie that's coming along through at that point in time, you don't have very long to react. Like, it might be a slower part of the track, but you don't have that much vision through there, so
Yeah, and it's
it'll
always
be interesting to see how it's interpreted.
Yeah. Right now, looks like he might have lost a couple of spots in that altercation. Might have to see what his pace stays like now that he's carrying that damage in the front left.
He's still up a couple of positions though from where he started, so he's still got that going in his favour. But yeah, it'll be, like I said, it'll be very interesting to see if he can keep doing it.
And look, I think with the way that the strategy's worked out, he's going to be pretty disappointed. With that incident with Matty Parker there, you can see he's just caught out on the radio again there, where Damien Cairns has made a pass on him coming into turn one. So a bit of paint exchange between those guys. There's going to be a lot of sign riders very happy after this round.
Yeah, they're going to have a lot of work to do in between now and next week, those sign riders.
Yeah, we've just gone back to Jamie, and this is nearing the area where he's caught up with Matty Parker in the previous lap. Damien Cairns, after making that pass, seems to have put a bit of distance between him and Jamie. Fishing Motorsports there in the 307. Dave Kirby, he's behind Scott Campbell. His last lap was a 1:12.18, so he might have had a bit of a moment somewhere along the line.
Interesting that Jamie's come in on that. Mustn't have come in on the last. Oh no, he did come in on that last safety car. There damage must have been way too bad for him, or he must have even possibly even had a meatball there.
Yeah, well, he was involved in that that altercation with Matty Parker, and then he also had a little bit of an incident with Damien Cairns, as we see Nitschke getting very, very loose through. There's John King, so that John King was up there in that top three with Jeff Thomas.
Did you see that on lap 50, I think it was?
So he's dropped back a couple now.
Yeah, I think as we must be starting to hit that point with the with that tyre degradation that we were talking about before. It must just be losing a little bit compared to what it was, and these guys are still trying to push as if they've got brand new tyres on the cars, and I think that might be where we're seeing a little bit of the that mixed in with trying to stay ahead of their nearest competitor. That might be what's starting to cause a few of these little mistakes that we're starting to see, or loose moments here and there.
Yep, and now we can actually see Greg Favell has passed Jeff Thomas on turn 1
Looking about
at the start of this lap, so he's now assumed the race lead.
We'll give
The
it to
first of
mine,
the
we'll
guys that pitted on that last safety car.
You better not be talking about me. I was driving off the track. Get out of the way.
Yeah, I think it's exactly what I'm talking about, pal.
Please, gentlemen, please.
And a few words exchanged between McCune and McKnight there.
Yeah, I think they've both got two different views of the same incident there, but
77 yours will be
I'm sure it'll all pan itself out in the end one way or another.
Yeah, race control just said they're going to review that after the race is done, so they can sort that one out. Glad it's them and not me.
Yeah, it's one of those very intense jobs in race control sometimes, but we always do thank them for giving up their time and running the show for us. So big thank you to race control and everyone behind the scenes just to keep all this going. It's one of those things that you always want to keep racing, and without them we wouldn't be able to do it. So big thank you to all of them.
Oh, look, 100%, and that goes for the guys in all the splits for vets. They do an awesome job, and you're not everyone's favourite person. When you adjudicate the incident, someone wins out and someone loses out, and you can't please everyone. They really do a good job under a lot of pressure. So, and I've come to realise, even organising the series and all the little bits and pieces that make it happen. It's not just a couple of hours here and there. It's a lot of work. So I take that off Anthony, who's run this series up until recently, and it really is a lot of effort. So, and the guys do really show their appreciation to him, which is good to see. And this is it's quite an aggressive little battle pack that we've got going on here behind Dan Hall. Another 4 cars within that 2-second category. You can see Hunt there. He's going to be hunting for that extra position. For Andrew Ritchie, you can see him stick the nose out. Looks like he's made 2 moves there, and it's a commentator's curse. He's just lost a couple of positions. He might have got a little bit too hot into that corner.
Yeah, that dreaded old commentator's curse. We do our best, and then it always goes pear-shaped at the wrong time.
Pass through incidents are going to be looked
Gone
at
back
post
here,
race with
you
a
can
few
see
other
there
race
where
people.
he's gone with a little bit too much speed. He's attacked that corner a little bit too hard there, and he's paid the price. And you just can't make that kind of mistake at this point in the race, because you can see the guys that have just swallowed him up there, and he's going to have to work hard and try to get those positions back. Century Motorsports KFC livery car there, Stephen Banks. You can see him back to Dumbrell there. So he's up 20 spots, Stephen Banks. So he's one of those big movers for the night who, he's done his three stops, and he's obviously had a fairly clean race to make up those positions and make them stick.
Yeah, it's either the cookie crumbles in your favour around this track, or it goes the polar opposite way for you. So he's certainly one of those ones that had it go in his favour, and he's played his cards at the right time, which is great to see for him. So yeah, it's always good when you have a nice little moving throughout the field like he has. It makes you feel really good and confident going into the next lot of racing.
Yeah, you can see Dumbrell there. It looks like he might have the energy drink ready to go. So he's be on the back of a night shift, Mr. Dumbrell. You can see him on the radio there, whether or not he's talking to his team or he's yelling out his right side window. Steve Banks.
Gets the job done though. Very clean there.
Yeah, he passes safely, and I've got to say that the motion rig. He does quite well with that. I know I've used them in the past, and they can be very difficult to grasp when you are moving around a lot independent of your steering wheel. So, and he's seen some pretty good improvements in his consistency and his results over the last couple of seasons too.
Yeah, it looks very intense to say the least. I can't say I've ever tried it, but yeah, it's my ribs are getting sore just watching it.
Yeah. So he's Dumbrell now P11. He's currently sitting P4 in the championship. Actually, no, that's right. He's no, that was the last race. Sorry, he finished P4 in the last race at Laguna Seca. With his overall championships currently sitting at 21st position. So he's only a couple of points off, off sort of the top 15 there. So he'll be looking to try to improve on that tonight. Scott Campbell. We've seen him be quite aggressive in this last stint. Him having dropped 9 positions, he's really going to be trying to push in these last 6 laps. I think we're really going to see him braking hard and late and throwing the car around.
Yeah, now that everyone's sort of levelled out a little bit with the tyre wear that we've had and that it'll be, now we're getting to the next stage of the tyre life of who's going to drop off from that early on plateau that you get with the tyre life, and who's going to start dropping off to lose that bit more time, and who's really going to start defending, and who can use that tyre plateau in the opposite way to their advantage. So we'll see who's really smooth on that throttle application, and yeah, who's great at being able to pull it up.
And we can see the championship standings there. We actually just saw Jeff Thomas pull in, duck in for his final pit stop with Scott Gamble and Jamie McKnight, as I said, on the same number of points, only separated by top 5 finishes. So, that tells us how close the championship is to date, in just round 4. So some great racing from those guys. Michael Stewart, his best start in a V8 Vets Championship. Greg Sharp, Chad Lewis, David Kirby, Brenton Nitschke, who had an outstanding season last season. Jeff Thomas, he won the racecraft rig last season. He's putting that to good use. Marty Hansen, Taipan eSports, and John King, JWM, running out the top 10 in the championship so far. So I think we're going to see some movement in that with the 2 championship leaders both currently sitting outside the top 10. Again,
it's great to see how many people as well within 100 points of each other, the top 11 there. So it's very, very close, this championship it is.
Yeah, look, like I said, with those two guys at the top of the table, we're going to see some big movement up and down for these guys in this round. So you can see Scott Campbell there. Really, as we said, we predicted that he might be pushing very hard in this last couple of laps to try to regain some of those positions.
Yeah, as he throws it in the inside there, who's going to get the better drive? Oh, gets a little sideways there. It's not going to help him.
No, it's going to cost him, and it's going to hurt his tyre life too a little bit in the couple of laps. So. See cars filing through turn 4 there. The back straight on the race course.
Mr. Photographer is getting a few good shots at the grass there from the looks of that.
Interesting to see what what photos we come up with in the chat afterwards from that photographer. So,
yeah, hopefully he's got a few good ones from earlier on though.
Here we go again with Gamble trying to. I think he's going to try to tuck in and remove on here on Steve Banks. I don't think he's going to run out of time on this lap.
You
can see right on that line. There is nothing between these guys in that first corner. Hits the curb hard.
What's he going to do? He's holding this time. How's his drive out of here?
This will be the key.
Much better.
You can see he's really planned that from the corner before. He's trying to get that good solid drive out and get that run on Steve, who look, he might hold him off here.
He's having a bit of a look. He's having a think. Oh, very game part of the track to give it a go. Side by side. Oh, this is fantastic.
That is some great racing by both guys.
Wow. Great stuff from both boys there to make it through there 2 wide. I don't think I've ever seen that pulled off, to be honest.
Not cleanly like that. That was fantastic. And that is a credit to both guys here.
Yeah.
For someone of Scott's caliber to be on your inside. He didn't give in, but he gave him just enough room and he fought him, and that was really well done by both guys.
A huge amount of trust from both blokes there to be on the same page and pull that off. So no, hats off to both of them for that. What a move.
And here we've got Greg Favell. Taipan eSports, he's pushed his lead out to 6.1 seconds now. So having not pitted on that second safety car, I think he might have been a little bit worried from the talk when we spoke to Damien Cairns, and it looks like that's worked out well for him now. As you say, that last safety car really did change the strategy and change the landscape of this last 20-25 laps. Two laps to go now. And we can see Jason Dixon. It's only 6 seconds behind Favell there. So currently Taipan eSports sitting in P1 and 2. They'll be working hard here to try to take those top 2 steps of the podium. See Jason Dixon in the championship sitting at 25th, so this is really going to help his campaign as well. So he'll be quite pleased with that after his early incident in Matt van der Kraan. See now under a little bit of pressure by Scott McCune. I think we'll have to see some adjudication on his earlier incident with McKnight, so we may not hear the end of that yet.
Yeah, I'm sure there's going to be a bit more that comes out of that, but we're approaching the final lap here though. Only a minute to go for Greg, plus minus a little bit. Let's see how he can go as he takes the white flag going onto this final lap. Good old Frankie, is it? Frankie the flag man?
That's him. This is the best part of his job.
He loves it. Look at that intensity. I want to get on his level, I do.
It'd be great to be that excited about waving a flag. And for the final time, we see Greg Favell through turn 4 onto the back straight. He's really opened up in this last stint, in this last 5 to 6 laps. Pulling 108 flats. Brenton Nitschke 108 flat, and we've got a couple of the guys scattered with the Jason 107.8. So he's pushing and trying to close that gap. He's brought it down by about a second, but obviously there's not going to be enough time there. This has been a really good drive from Greg with I think with having his pit stop, he was worried about that. He's kept his cool and he's kept calm and consistent. Like you say, that counts for a lot when you're trying to tally up those points on the championship table. So
yeah, most definitely.
Favell, Dixon, Nitschke, Sharp, Paul, Bentz, Hewitt. See Damien Cairns there coming in P8, zigzagging across, and he's going to be more work for the sign riders. See Van der Kraan, we've got most of the guys that are piling through now. So soon we'll be able to bring up those race results. You see the final guys here crossing over the line, and Greg Favell, you'd think that he's probably going to line up for a bit of a celebration at the end of the straight. The guys looks like posing for a photo there, 1-2.
Yeah, it'd be a standard procedure, but yeah, it'd be rude not to for him to do a little bit of a pose there. But I wonder what kind of burnout skills Greg's got here, and I wonder if he's going to show them off at any particular part of the track. Still got half of it to go. Certainly a fantastic race from him it was tonight.
It was a reasonably clean race until the end. But,
here we've got the race results provisionally, of course, pending some reviews from race control. We've got Greg Favell taking out the win with Jason Dixon P2 and then Brenton Nitschke P3. Greg Sharp, Stuart Hall, Jason Bentz, Michael Stewart in 4, 5, 6 and 7. 8th was Damien Cairns. 9th was Michael Dumbrell, and then Scott Gamble rounding out the top 10.
Yeah, and certainly there, from what I can see so far, provisionally as well as, yeah, Craig Friend was sort of the biggest mover in the field from 40th up to 13th, so certainly hats off for a big movement like that.
And that's a great drive to get 27 spots And it looks like he might have two stopped that race. So he's done a lot of fuel saving to get there. So that just shows that different strategy really, does come into play. The smoke on the front straight.
As Mr. Favell lets his hair down and gets all the smoke out and has given us the burnout that we were hoping for.
That's a better one.
There we go. That's some quality stuff going on there. Great set of 11s he's got going on, and whoop, and around he goes.
Look, and he deserves to have a bit of fun there.
Yeah, there's not going to be much left of those Dunlop rears after he's had his fun there, but again, hats off to him. Great drive. You're allowed to do that when you have a drive like that, so fantastic stuff.
Yeah, that's it. And we might look at bringing up some of our podium place getters into the commentary box. I might just have a chat with Brenton Nitschke in P3. Hey, Brendan.
Hey guys, how you going?
Congratulations on the P3. How did you feel going into the race?
Yeah, not too bad going to the race. Done a few laps around here this week. Only purchased the track a week ago, so bit of a new track. Took a bit to get used to, but yeah, really enjoyed the track. Just it's a tough race around there for 65 laps here, whole time. So, really enjoyable race.
And then coming from P8 up to P3, that's a great drive. How did you attack the strategy with fuel from the get?
Yeah, I didn't pit on the first safety car. Stayed out then and then pitted on the second one, and there was a few of us on separate strategies. I think some guys were on a strategy of pitting on 22 and then 29. And obviously they didn't quite make it to the end. They were probably a few laps short making it to the end. So, and on that last restart, I think there was 2-3 guys in front of us that hadn't pitted on the last safety car. So I fumbled my way through there and let Greg and Jason through, unfortunately. So it was a good win by Greg and great P2 by Jason. So.
Thank you.
Yeah, it was certainly a great drive, and yeah, we'll go over to you, Jason. It was certainly a very full-on race for you. Been involved in an incident on lap 1, turn 1, I believe, and been able to bring yourself all the way back to P2 after that. That was certainly a great drive. What's your take on the race?
I didn't even make turn 1. I got turned around on the start at, in a straight line, so from there, I thought the car wouldn't go. I had a wheel issue in practice where the totally disconnected and lost all the settings, so I didn't have a restart button, so I had to fumble around, find my keyboard to try and get it started, and finally got the car started. The safety car come out, and from there I just I screwed up the strategy on the last stop. I backed off thinking I'd fuel save and allowed everyone to catch me, and I probably cost myself the race, but I'm thrilled with second from dead last, and yeah, absolutely thrilled with the week I've had too. It's just great.
Yeah, it's certainly a very, very good effort, and as we sort of see, it was, the fence wasn't too kind for you as well. Like normally, you bounce off a fence and you go, flying forward in the direction you hit it, but no, the fence decided to throw you backwards as well, which is not something we commonly see, but it was certainly a very good effort to be able to bring yourself back there. And was there any part of the race where you thought that you might be on to get a podium, or were you sort of didn't really know what to expect?
When I come out in third from the second safety car, I thought I'm in a chance to win here because the two guys in front of me didn't stop. So I thought I was in a great chance there. Like I said, then I blew the last, just not thinking properly, and yeah, then go back to 7th, and I go, okay, if I can get a top 5 here, I'm going to be thrilled, and just head one guy at a time, and yeah, and I had really good pace and was able to gap Brenton at the end, and yeah, thrilled.
Yeah, nice. Yeah, again, congratulations. It was certainly a very good drive, and it was fantastic to watch. It was.
Thank you.
And congratulations, Greg, on the win. You started out in P4, worked your way up to P1, and we spoke to, during that second safety car, we spoke to one of your teammates, Damien Cairns, and he said that you hadn't pitted and you might have been a bit worried about that pit stop. And did you just want to talk us through that?
Yeah, when I seen Brenton go in on the second safety car, I'm like, oh, what have I done? So it made it sort of made it more exciting. I thought, I've got to try and get 10-second gap on him, and I was getting the gap there, but then we got another safety car, and I knew he'd jump me in that stop. So no, it was good fun from there on. I didn't know if the other three cars, I think it was in front of us, needed to pit again. So I thought, just got to try and get past everyone, and yes, there we go.
Yeah, look, we did see that you were, you're stuck behind a couple of the JWM motorsport cars, and they were actually showing quite a bit of pace. And whether or not they were going to make the make the rest of the race without having to refuel was kind of the big question. But you end up catching them in the end, and you put a bit of a gap on Jason. So it was a good race. Congratulations.
Yeah, thanks. It's a very hard track to get past on. Like if you don't get the run out in the straight, you're not getting past. And yeah, they're hard to get past. But when I did get past, I managed to just gap them pretty easily. So yeah, it was good fun.
I think that's a testament to the to the racing of most of the guys. Anyone who can make a safe pass here, he's doing quite well. As you say, it is a tough track to pass at, and you guys did make it look easy on quite a few occasions. So, just circling back, Brendan, is there anyone that you want to thank?
Yeah, big shout out to you guys for putting on tonight's show. Obviously, Luke's got the bit of a sore throat still, so yeah, thanks to you guys for putting tonight on. That's awesome to see. Big thanks to Juiced Energy, All Ports Gaming, Pet Door Company, and also Quantum Tint Solutions, the title sponsor.
Very cool. And Jason and Greg, did you guys want to jointly thank your sponsors, having a Taipan eSports P1, P2?
I'll let Greg do this since he got the win.
Thanks, mate. Yeah, all right. Well, in fact, Blacktown Mazda, Blacktown City GWM Havau, Too Easy Finance, Simrigs, SimSpec Engineering, Card FX, Sideways Photography. I'll thank my personal sponsors, Abbey Timber and Modern Deck, and all the guys behind the scenes here at V8 Veterans, Race Controls, Safety Car Drivers, and yeah, thanks to everyone.
All right, cool. And look, thank you to Nathan, who sat in on short notice to help me out.
Yeah, and thanks, guys.
Hopefully,
all good, lads.
Hopefully, we see Luke from RACESTARS back with his voice for the Split 2 commentary very soon.
Yeah, get well, Luke.
All right, and that's going to do us for tonight. So thank you to everyone, and we look forward to Split 2 of the V8 Veterans in a couple of days, and then next week we've got round 6, which is I think it was Monza.
Yeah, so Monza GP.
Monza GP. So we'll see you guys there. Ciao for
Thanks,
now.
guys.
Have a good one, everyone.
Thanks for the broadcast.